Hi guys, so we're going to go through why this boring business model will not get taken over by AI. We all know that's not going to happen, but let's go through it anyway. I'm also going to break down for you actually how to use AI with this business model to make it a little bit easier in terms of setup and things like that. We'll go over kind of what AI can't replace with a remote service business or any type of service business, and simply why this model wins long term. It's been around for hundreds of years. How can we make it better? Simple as that. All right. You're going to have to ignore the cap. I need a haircut, so you're just going to have to deal with it this week, okay? So, moving forward, what AI can't replace with this business model, and that's really, really important. The first thing is obviously physical fulfillment. So, think about it. We're doing a pressure wash on a driveway now. As far as I'm aware, there's no AI generated pressure washes just yet. Even if they do bring something out, it's gonna still need human interaction with it. I've seen like the lawnmowers that mow your lawn, robot lawnmowers, things like that now. But I've also seen people loading up videos of how they break down every 30 seconds and the cut isn't as good and you need to empty it every 2 minutes. So look, it's all well and good, but it's just not going to happen. So to actually like grow one of these business models, if you went and stuck a robot on someone's driveway, I don't think they're going to be very, very happy about it. So physical fulfillment, it's local, physical, and it's humans that are required to do the job. Simple as that. There's a human trust and quality control aspect when it comes to this type of business. And that's like the way that obviously we run this business model using contractors and we outsource that work. Now the contractors need accountability. So I'm always keeping on top of my contractors to make sure that they are accountable for the work that they're doing, and that is obviously quality control in the business. That's me speaking to the client, me speaking to the contractor, making sure that everything's done perfectly so that my client is happy, and obviously I get repeat work off the back of that. So contractors need accountability and clients obviously want that interaction in between the process, and I'll break that down a little bit more as well. The service delivery itself obviously needs local presence. You can automate things like lead generation. You can automate quoting eventually. You can, even automate your invoices. I was speaking to someone about this the other day, and it's really, really easy to do with some types of software where near enough every type of system or software is integrating AI into it. But there still is a level of human interaction that's needed with all of that. So if we can use AI to benefit us, then great. It only helps the business moving forward. And I'll break that down. But there's obviously a number of things that AI can't replace. So client communication is really, really important. So you need a human touch with your clients. My clients, I've developed a relationship with them over the years. They know exactly how I operate. I know how they want to operate. I know how they want their jobs done. And again, that is really, really important because there's that human touch element there. You're developing your client relationships as you continue to grow with this business. And the same thing with your contractors. You're developing that relationship with your contractors as well. So things like, coming up with specification, scheduling the actual jobs, obviously pricing needs a human touch, and then general updates throughout the job as well. That's again really, really, really important because you're constantly reminding your client that you are on it. We're going to make sure the contractor gets the job done. We're going to make sure you're happy with the specification, the final outcome of the job, the price, so on and so forth. All of this is human interaction with the client, not something that we can really use AI for to get started with. So that's kind of a breakdown of simply what AI can't replace. Basically the whole business model, let's face it. And that's one of the biggest benefits of starting a service-based business. They've been around for hundreds of years and they're not going to get taken over by AI in my lifetime. I just can't, it's just not going to happen. It's really not going to happen. Maybe, I'll look down from above in 1,000 years and it will just be completely different. But right now, this is one of the best businesses to start. Simple as that. Because you're not going to do anything fancy with AI at the moment. There's all these tech startups. Again, I'll break that down in a bit as well because there's shiny object syndrome. Just start a real business, a normal business that's going to generate income. Do it as passive income, run it as a full-time income. Honestly. So how to use AI to launch fast. Okay, so this is where AI can actually help us and help us improve the business. Just make things, I guess, speed things up a little bit more. So remembering that AI can be your assistant, but not your replacement. Again, something that's really, really important there. So things like generating copy for your website, for your emails, automating emails, and even replying to like customer reviews. There's ways that we can integrate AI to do that. That is going to free up your time, but it's not going to completely replace you. There's still going to be times where you need to look at a review. You might need to amend some emails. You might want to send out some personal emails as well. And then even the copy, like you can generate copy with AI for, you know, your ads, your website, your Google My Business profile, that kind of thing. You're still going to need to tidy it up and make it better. And that is with the human touch side of things. So coming on to that, you can use AI to boost your online setup framework. Now, if you don't know about my online setup framework, there's loads of videos on it. Just go and check them out. The online setup framework is one of the fastest ways to get a remote service business launched, because you could do this with word of mouth. It would just take a little bit longer. Now, you generate word of mouth really, really quickly anyway in the business, but having a good online setup framework can literally get one of these businesses launched within a couple of days. So we can use AI for our website, building out the website. There's an AI software that we use on the program. Obviously generating copy, things like that as well. Google My Business, there's integrations to AI that can be used. Obviously creating a logo, creating photos for the website, for your Google My Business profile, if you're using a Facebook business page, so on and so forth. There's a number of different ways that we can use AI in the business. This gives it instant professionalism from day one. So if you're not very good at writing copy, or you're not good at creating logos or images and things like that, then you are going to have like that real instant level of professionalism throughout your website. And you know, the client being able to see that in the customer journey is really, really important. So again, good ways to integrate AI with our online setup framework. You can also use it for quoting templates, like messaging scripts as well. If you're doing anything through direct messages, you know, Instagram, Facebook, so social media basically. You can automate things with AI there just by getting like immediate responses out to clients. That's obviously going to speed up that interaction with the client as well, which is really, really good. And it also removes decision fatigue. Now, again, this is kind of something that integrates into like the online setup framework as well. And basically anything in terms of setup mode. You'll have heard me say this before about not getting stuck in setup mode with a business. Really, really important. One of these businesses, you could literally create a Google My Business profile, pick up your phone and start ringing people and generating some leads pretty quickly. It's that simple. When you have a good online setup framework, it makes it easier, and you don't have to be doing the things like picking up the phone, doing cold calling, that kind of thing, because we integrate a good level of inbound lead generation at the start of the business. So we remove decision fatigue by using things like AI to integrate into our online setup framework, into our messaging scripts, into our quotes, and so on and so forth. And that is really, really important, because I've seen it so many times. People saying, I am buzzing to start a business. I can't wait to start a business. And then they'll go and plan it for 3 months. That's all well and good if you're coming up with some brand new startup or something like that. But with this type of business, you're not. It's been done before. It's been done 1,000 times before. It's created over 100 years ago. What we do now is just make it better. So don't get stuck in setup mode. Use AI to help you with your online setup framework. Get it done. It really shouldn't take that long at all. We can also use AI for data analysis. Now that's pretty obvious. As soon as you hear the word data or analysis these days, you probably think of AI. So we can use it to like review our ads. We can review data coming into the business, cost per acquisition, cost per lead, that kind of thing. You can integrate AI, just get it to kind of check through everything to make sure that we are in a position that the data looks good and we can continue to be profitable. So why this model wins long term. Now, like I say, it's been around for hundreds of years already. It's going to be around for hundreds of years more, long before I'm gone. And some of the biggest benefits of it really is that, you know, it is quite unsexy. It is boring. It's unsexy. It's boring. It's simple. I like the word simple more than anything else. Unsexy sounds pretty cool as well. But that obviously moving forward with a service-based business, there is going to be less competition. I am so sure on that, because everyone is looking at some fancy new tech startup, or like I said earlier, shiny object syndrome. Something fancy comes out, you know, drop shipping, FBA, Forex trading, this AI robot could generate you £1,000 a month. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. So I honestly believe the competition will get less and less in these types of businesses, which is why it is one of the best times to get started right now. There's also low overheads and then high margins in one of these businesses as well. So the low overheads, you know, you can literally operate one of these businesses for less than £50 per month. And then you've got advertising costs on top. Again, doesn't have to be a big budget to get started with. But the margins can be really, really good when you're especially aiming at the high ticket services and the recurring revenue side of services as well. It's a no-brainer. You also don't need any equipment. You don't need any staff, especially if you use our outsourcing model. And you don't need an office. There's literally no reason for you to have an office. Work from wherever you want. You literally just sell your services and then outsource that work. Remember, keeping it simple and easy. This is one of the easiest business models you can launch this year without fail. So like I said, there is recurring predictable income with this type of business as well. You know, if you take cleaning, for example, cleaning needs to be done weekly, monthly, even daily on some contracts. You know, they are going to need it done more than once. Someone just doesn't need their driveway jet washed once. It probably needs to be done once, twice a year. Their windows need to be done weekly, bi-weekly. They want their house cleaned daily. Commercial office cleaning contracts, they want them done daily. They want their windows done once a month. They want their gutters cleaned out twice a year. These are so many different services you can integrate into one service business. It's so easy. It is so easy, honestly. Finally, it's remote, it's scalable, and it's sellable. I'm proof of that. I've got clients that prove that as well now. You can run it from anywhere in the world, literally anywhere in the world, and you can target specific locations. If you were living in Holland and you wanted to target London, you can literally do that. The same applies to any other location or setup that you want to take a look at as well. And then finally, you can scale it to sell. These businesses are completely sellable. If you don't know about my business background, I sold a company called the External Division for £100,000 and I only ran it for 4 months. There'll be a link below this video to a training video. Go and watch it. You'll see exactly how I did that. You can also pass it down to your children, grandchildren, so on and so forth. You can sell off contracts if you wanted to, so you continue to keep the business. You can sell part of the business, so you keep a certain percentage of the business. There's so many different options when it comes to growing one of these businesses. Initially, if your goal is to leave your 9 to 5 and replace your income, get started with a service-based business. Watch the training video below this link. Comment below if you need anything else. See you soon.